Hi everyone. Today we are going to discuss how to build a Spring Boot project using Maven or Gradle. So for that, the tools that are required to build the Spring Boot application using Maven or Gradle are as follows. Here I am using the IDE as Visual Studio Code. You can use either STS, that is Spring Boot Toolshoot, or you can use CLI or anything else. And it is necessary that the JDK. So I am downloading and using here JDK 1.8. Let us discuss the steps to create the Spring Boot application using Maven or Gradle. The first and foremost step is download and install VS Code and JDK version. The step 2 is we have to open the VS Code and we have to move towards the extension, and it is necessary to download the extension pack for Java, Spring Boot extension and Spring Initializing. Let us open the VS Code editor. Let us move to extension. Here we have to download the extension pack for Java and Spring Boot extension. Spring Boot, Spring Initializer Java support, and we have to install the Spring Boot extension pack also. These are all the three packages which we want to install: Spring Boot extension pack, Spring Initializer Java support, and extension pack for Java. These three extensions we have to download and we have to install. That is, simply we can press install, and or else we can install manually. Now we have to move towards the Explorer window. In Explorer window we have to press Ctrl, Shift and P. We have to choose Spring Initializer, create Maven project. We have to choose Spring Boot version, our language Java. It is necessary to give group ID and artifact ID. I am giving as group ID and artifact ID same. It is not necessary to be same. Press enter and choose the jar version, that is jar or var, and we have to specify the Java version. I am specifying 11, and we have to choose the various dependencies. The various dependencies are Spring Web, that is one dependency we have to choose, and then Spring Boot Dev Tools, that is the second dependency. And for getter and setter, we are auto creation of getter and setter using annotation. We have to use Lombok, and to design the front-end designs we can use ThemeLeaf as a dependency. After choosing the 4 dependencies, press enter. It will ask where the project has to be generated. Let us choose our own folder and press generate into this folder and press open. It will create like this. The steps we have done so far are: in Explorer window we press the Ctrl Shift B and we have choose Spring Initializer, create a Maven project, and we press the enter. After that we specify the Spring Boot version, Spring There is project language as Java, and we have given our group ID, artifact ID, and the packaging type as either jar or var, and we have specified the Java version, and we have chosen the dependencies, Spring Web, Spring Boot DevTools, Teamleaf, and Lombok, and finally we specify the folder where the application to be generated. Now we have to move towards src main.java, and we have to look. There is a main program in the name of application.java. Let us move towards src main java. There is a sample from application.java. In that application.java, our main program is located. The run is a static method. It will run our class file, and there is an annotation Spring Boot application. It is a combination of @Spring Boot configuration, @enable auto configuration, and @component scan. Now let us create our HTML files. We have to create our HTML pages under resources, under template. Let us create our first file index.html by pressing new file icon, index.html. Right? So HTML, head, title, sample form handling, get into body tag, under h1 I am given as Spring Boot form handling, and I am going to give an anchor tag with the reference when I am pressing, when I click, it has to be redirected to the reference link, that is /register when I press the click. Okay, that is the message. When I press the click, I have to redirect to the next page /register. The /register has to point out the next HTML page. Let us have the registration form. Let us have the file name as registration form.html. HTML. Okay. We have to use the theme leaf. So XML ns namespace th equal to, we have to give themeLeaf.org, themeLeaf.org. Again we have to give the same head, title at all. Let us give it as registration, and we have to give now the body tag, form. Let Let us give the action. What is the action we have to perform when we press the submit button of the form? So object, let us create the object name as user. That object has to be given in dollar and name followed by I am in need of a space, so we have given in an ampersand NBSP, and the first field name is name of type text, second is email of type text, and third one is password, and fourth one is date of birth of type date, and for gender I have used a radio button, and for hobbies I have used the check boxes, and to get the feedback the text area is given, and we can use the drop down list to select the profession, and finally there is a submit button. So now we have to give what is this name, email, password. We have to create a class, that is model class. Under the model class we have to set these fields as a instance variable, and the model class object has to be created in controller, and that object has to be mentioned here. This is for the actual procedure. Now when I press submit button, it has to be redirected to the next page of the link / register success. So again I am going to create one more HTML file, that is registration success. Registration underscore success dot html. I have given some styles and the background image. Okay, so those fields, that is the user is the object, and those object fields name, email, password are received and printed using span tag. Okay, so this image, we have to download this image, and the images has to be images or external styles have to be given in static, under static. So let us download, and we have to move that downloaded image to static. So now I am moving the image, that is copying the image, and I am going to bring this image to static. The image which is moved to static now. Now we have to create the control and model. So let us create a folder named as controller, and we are going to create one more folder, that is model. Under controller.java I am going to create a file. Let us name it as MVC control.java. Yes, it asks whether it is a class. Yes, it is a class. Here we have to give the annotation. We have to make this class as a controller. So I am given here as @controller annotation to make my class as a controller. So we have to import the particular packages. Yes, it gives suggestion, and then I have to give the request mapping annotation, the next annotation. So in order to do, when I click the ahref, that is when I click this click, I have to redirect to /register. Now what happens when I click, when it is redirected to /register, which can be mentioned under the annotation at request mapping of, within the double quotes, when I give register, what I have to do, I have to redirect by calling the method. The method has to be called, that is I am given name as register form. Here I am creating the object for model class. Under the model class, okay, so I am going to create the object for the user defined model class, that is user equal to new user of. What this user means, this user class is my own model class. Let us create this user class here, user.java. In that user class, what I have to do is I have to create these fields as a local instance variable. This is register forms fields as my local instance variable. So we have to create those fields, and for the corresponding field we have to create the corresponding getter and setter also, like this: name, email, gender, password, profession, and feedback is given as note, and date of birth is DOB, and hobbies, that is checkbox. So I am going to choose as boolean field. Either true or false will be stored as a result, and for each and every field, @getter and @setter are the annotation. When you give @getter and setter, it will automatically import those code from Lombok. So we have to import Lombok getter and Lombok setter. So for this, now this user class will be my model class. Okay, so I have to specify this user class is my model class. In order to do that, I have created a variable for that is object for model class, and this object has to be called the method @attribute, that is add attribute method has to be called, and this add attribute has two parameter. One is user defined string. I am given user defined string, and which class object has to be considered as model. The user class object has to be considered as model, so I am given user itself, like this. We have to import this user class. Now add attribute. So import model, import the model class, UI model, okay, and then we have to add the model attribute to user class. The user class is created with the fields and @getter and setter annotations are imported using Lombok, and there are some packages has to be imported. Let us give one by one. Post mapping is another annotation. So the list, we have to import the list from util package. Yes, everything is imported successfully. For model, there are two packages available. Again, I am specifying, I am mentioning here. When you give model, it is necessary to import the package. If you import logback.code.model, the add attribute is not available, so it is advisable to import orgframework.ui. Okay. So another way, after register form, I have to redirect to register success.html page. So which is of type post. So I am given here as post mapping register success. I am redirected. Rather than creating the model attribute and adding the model with the user defined model class, that is user class is the user defined model class. Another way is to give @model attribute annotation. When you use @model attribute annotation, we can directly add the attribute of, there is string, this is string, add the string attribute, that is the string is referencing, this user string is referencing the user class object. Okay, either you can use add attribute method explicitly, otherwise you can use @model. So here the purpose of given list here is I have to give the choices in drop down list. Okay, the developer, designer and tester. The each and every choice is mentioned here. That is option for each profession list. The profession list is mentioned here for each profession list. This string is mapped with profession list object. For each profession list, okay, the value will be the same. What is the value? The value is developer or designer or tester. The value will be also designer, tester or developer. The text is also designer, developer or tester. Okay, now the list is added as an attribute to the string profession list. Okay, now the controller is also created, the user is also created, everything is created. There is no need for this method. Okay, let us perform save option and let us execute the application.java. The execution starts. Okay, continue. The Spring has started. The Tomcat server is started. Everything is going to start within a minute. Yes, everything is started. Now I have to move towards the web page. The server has started successfully. Okay, I am moving towards web browser and I am giving localhost 8080. I am given click here. It asks for name. I am given as name rom.edu. Password, I am given some password. Date of birth, let us give any date. Let us give gender, and after giving hobbies, we will give feedback as something nice. And developer, and finally I press register button, so it will move towards register success.html. Okay, the image is loaded, everything is fine. So this is what the way to develop the Spring Boot project. Okay, Spring Boot project, that is form handling. Now today we discuss how to perform the form handling using Maven or Gradle. Okay, thank you all.